All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to talk about FSR 4. So I've had a few hours now, actually a lot of hours, to sit here and check this out on the 9070 XT, the XFX Mag Air, Mercury Mag Air that XFX sent out to me. So, man, this is actually pretty awesome. I got a lot to say. I think that so I got a lot to say about this. So I've been testing this out, mainly obviously in the PlayStation games, you know, like some Horizon Forbidden West, some Horizon Zero Dawn, some, you know, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think I got some, let's see what else I've got on here. I've got some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and The Last of Us Part 1, Grand Theft Auto 5. And then I also got some benchmarks that I am going to put into this video, some 3D Mark Port Royal or whatever. Actually, it's just more than that. It's like there's a few of them in there. But I want to talk about this overall GPU for a minute, okay? So RDNA 4 now has machine learning, which is essentially the same type of theory that like DLSS is created on, or XeSS for Intel. And I've always kind of been a little bit more like I like the way DLSS looks sometimes, but then other times I just don't really, you know, it's always kind of been like hit or miss with me on DLSS. Now, FSR 4 is, in my opinion, it's quite different. And you've already heard other people talk about this, so I'm just kind of putting my own little spin on it to kind of give you my feelings on this technology. Because I've never really been really big on upscaling. I've always kind of been, you know, slightly negative about it. And, you know, I've had to stop and like adjust the way I think about things and the way I see this technology going forward. I've had to essentially kiss the upscaling ring, so to speak. You know what I mean? But there's always been this distinct look to FSR, and you guys have heard me say this multiple times that I've not been against FSR, you know, just the way it looks, the way it the way it presents my visuals, even though there's shortcomings to like FSR 3, FSR 2, you know, with like shimmering or ghosting, so some of that type of stuff that you know would leave some people, you know, kind of you know, like, oh my gosh, dude, I want better than this, and you know, and I get it, you know, after seeing that, you know, and like really sitting here and kind of, you know, trying to really look at this upscaling, you know, since getting, you know, the another NVIDIA build, I've been able to, you know, put a little bit of focus into checking out some DLSS 4 and all of that stuff, going back looking at some DLSS 3 and some of them older games, and just kind of, you know, trying to bring it together in terms of, you know, how does FSR and DLSS and all of that, how can it improve my experience? Now, before I was always looking at it like quality mode or whatever, and this time, you know, I'm kind of, you know, going back and looking at it in performance, because I guess that's what everybody had been looking at it before, and I just never really caught on or understood. I was like, why would you want performance DLSS? And it didn't ever occur to me that like if you're on like a 3060 or a 4070 or something like that, then yeah, you're probably using performance DLSS or performance, you know, FSR or something like that. Whereas with a 7900 XTX or a 5090, you're probably, you know, on quality or something, you know what I mean? And so that's what I would, you know, end up using like DLSS or something like that, is in the quality mode. So obviously, PS5 Pro is what kind of got me started into like actually being like, okay, maybe upscalers aren't super bad. You know, looking at that and seeing how that transforms the experience on the console on a 4K display, I was like, all right. So then I started playing around with my 7900 XTX, you know, checking out FSR 3, turning it on, putting it in lower performances and stuff like that. And like really trying to give it a chance and give it an opportunity. And I found that like, even though there was the flickering or the shimmering or some of that kind of stuff like ghosting, I didn't necessarily have that big of a problem with all of that stuff. I was just like, okay, the overall image quality, it looks good. I think it's the performance. To be completely honest with you, the performance uptick that I got while utilizing that technology like FSR 3, that has always stood out and been more important to me, to where I'm like, all right, yeah, this is playable, you know, and I'm playing and like I'm, you know, like looking at the visuals and not just like completely like, oh my gosh, these are the best visuals ever, but the performance was good enough for the visuals to grow on me. So now we're going to talk about FSR 4 now. So obviously, you know, I am a big open world game playing type of person. Like I love those types of experiences more than anything else. And so those are the ones that I had checked out first. And so throughout the rest of this video, you're going to see footage from Horizon. We're going to start with Horizon Forbidden West, and we're going to kind of work ourselves down in the order in the games that I checked out. So in Horizon Forbidden West, I jumped into this game and I'm in Plainsong. Okay, like I always go to Plainsong. It's one of the most beautiful places on Horizon Forbidden West. And one of the things that distinctly stood out to me immediately while in performance mode is the little particles in the air. They're not ghosting no more. They're not leaving the trails. They're not doing any of that. And the overall image quality, okay, so this is the one thing, like right when I would turn on DLSS, it would just have this sharpened look, you know, and it would kind of like maybe pull out some of the detail a little bit, you know, like pull out some of that atmosphere. And I would notice that and it would be distinct. And I'm going to be testing a lot of this tomorrow. This is just my first impressions on like FSR 4 or whatever, so that you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from, so that we can set a basis for my testing tomorrow, you know, with DLSS 4 versus FSR 4, stuff like that. So when I'm looking at this, I'm still noticing in FSR 4 that I still have that atmosphere. I still have that overall look that I normally would have while using like FSR 3. I still get all of that visual quality and that visual information that is very important to me while playing these games. I am still retaining that with FSR 4, whereas it kind of loses some of that when I'm utilizing DLSS. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't understand that. And tomorrow I'm going to do some thorough testing on this. I want to side by side run these things and literally get to the freaking bottom of this, why I am more prone to like what I see while running an AMD GPU versus what I see when I'm on an AM or an NVIDIA GPU. And to be completely honest with you, this has been a lot tougher since DLSS 4 has come out, because I'll look at DLSS 4 and I'll be like, gosh dang, that image quality looks absolutely freaking incredible. And then I'll put on the AMD GPU and I'll be watching and I'll be like, wow, I love the way this looks. And then I'll do a side-by-side and I'll look at them and I'll be like, oh my gosh, man, FSR still looks better to me. So we're gonna definitely dig into this pretty good tomorrow. So as you can see here with Horizon Forbidden West, the overall image quality is absolutely beautiful. It is stunning. The overall look to the density of these visuals is absolutely beautiful, freaking stunning to me. Like I can't get enough of how incredible FSR 4 really starts to bring this image quality to life and gets rid of all of those imperfections that used to bug everybody. I mean, like me, I was fine with them. I could live with them or whatever, but this is absolutely, I don't want to say perfect, but gosh dang, this looks very, very good, very convincing, and it's very full. It just feels like there's so much atmosphere in this experience that I'm blown away. I'm absolutely freaking blown away by this. So now I want to take a look at some Horizon Zero Dawn. So here in Zero Dawn, as you can see, it's kind of raining in this at first. We're gonna play around with you know, both, you know, performance and quality, and look at this. And because quality is one of the ones with DLSS, obviously, that would like really over sharpen it, and we're gonna adjust the sharpening in this game. We're gonna play with the sharpening a little bit to kind of see and kind of gauge that. But you'll notice that the way that these two games look, Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn, because they have this very lush, beautiful vegetation in these worlds, that really just comes to life with the motion and everything else in these games. And then you look at the atmosphere, you see all the particle effects that fly around in the air, and it's almost like you can just see this 3D pop when it comes to the overall visual quality. And now that it's super cleaned up and you don't have any of like the flickering or the ghosting or any of these types of behaviors anymore in what FSR4 is bringing to the table, it's quite interesting to see just how far this type of technology is starting to come. And I noticed this the other day when I was playing around with DLSS 4 in Star Wars Outlaws. I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, this is just making this look absolutely incredible. And that's exactly the feeling I'm getting right now with FSR 4 in these two games, in Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn. The overall atmosphere and the beautifulness of these visuals and the clarity that you get out of being able to use something like FSR 4 is absolutely freaking stunning. I mean, I cannot believe how freaking beautiful this looks. And when I'm looking at like The Last of Us Part 1. Okay, so I'm in here, I've got, FSR performance, we're playing around on this in performance, and I'm going through this, we're going through this section, and we're like in this bar, and we're looking around, and like the visuals. Okay, now when I played this on the PlayStation 5 Pro with PSSR, I noticed that it was just like really over sharpened, and being able to get in here on the PC version and have that sharpening adjustment, turning that all the way down, it really just makes this game absolutely look freaking beautiful. I'm blown away. I am literally blown away just how good FSR 4 is. The way it looks in The Last of Us Part 1, it's incredible. Like, you see all the detail in the faces even more. Like it just brings, actually, a lot of that probably has to do with the remake in general. The way that they remade this game, you can see and almost feel the expression in, like Joel and Ellie and all of that. You can see this now, and it brings these characters to life in a way that the original game just never could do. Now that we have, FSR 4, or I need to check this one out with DLSS 4 too. To be completely honest, that'll be something that we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to do some side-by-sides and stuff like that, because I really want to be able to dive deep into these games and into this experience, and hopefully these upscalers can bring more joy to more people. So I want to turn my attention over here to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, this game is one that's kind of weird because it says it supports it in the AMD like whatever, and then when you get in here, it does not have like a selector or anything. So I don't know for sure if this is running DLSS, but we are running, or FSR 4, but we are in a performance mode. And the visuals look very, very clean on a 4K display. I was like, wow, this actually looks really good. But when I'm swinging my sword and stuff, you can see like it's not necessarily ghosting or whatever, but I mean, maybe that's just an effect that's in the game. But I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at, as I get a little bit further into here, and I kind of start seeing like this wagon drive by, and I could kind of see like the canopy kind of breaking up and stuff in there. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm not 100% sure if this game is absolutely utilizing the FSR 4 or not, the machine learning part of it. But the overall image quality in the forest and running around and looking at things, it looks really good. Like, it looks really clean. The overall visuals, there's plenty of clarity. I'm absolutely freaking stunned. It looks very, very good. But yeah, there's that one thing with the canopy that kind of draws my attention away from that and kind of makes it so it kind of has me questioning if it's actually FSR 4 or not. So the last game that I want to bring your attention to would be Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, it says it supports it in the game. I mean, in the Adrenaline software, you go in there and it's got the little switch for it so that you can select FSR 4. And I get in there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this looks good. but then I'm seeing flickering on the garage door. So I'm like, I don't know, is it actually doing what it's supposed to do or not? And you know, so that's got me thinking. It's like, what the heck? And then I tried running it, you know, at the end without any kind of upscaling, and because I was getting like 40-ish frames on the 7900 XTX, and this one's getting about 50-ish, you know. So I'm like, okay, so I got 10 extra frames on this game. So I don't know, guys. I feel like FSR 4 is absolutely, without question, an improvement over what FSR 3 or any of the other upscalers, and easily on par with DLSS 3.7 or whatever. I'm like, wow, this is actually beautiful. It looks, and in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it looks significantly better than DLSS, because I'm retaining all of that image quality that I normally would get on an AMD GPU. I'm still getting that. So at the end of the day, it's absolutely looking freaking beautiful. I'm very happy with that. But now I want to, you know, just show you this really quick on the 3D Mark Port Royal or whatever. These are my scores from the 5070 Ti versus the 7900 XT, or no, the 9070 XT. And you can see that, like, my 9070 XT is 28% ahead in a ray tracing benchmark for Port Royal. That was absolutely freaking mind-blowing to see that, and I was like, wow, that's pretty incredible to see that score that high, and it absolutely is beating my 7900 XTX too in some of these benchmarks. So I wasn't expecting this. So yeah, guys, there's my my impressions of like FSR 4 for right now, just in my preliminary investigation, or preliminary, you know, just being able to like test it out and check it out today. Wow, this is quite impressive, and I can't wait to finish checking this out some more tomorrow, man. I'm gonna get up early and I'm gonna start running some of these tests, and we're gonna do some side-by-sides. So stay tuned for all that. If you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.